Hey, look, one of my favorite long-term investors, Ron Barron, a decade ago, literally a decade ago, 2014, discussing Tesla. Tesla, the same company whose stock in essence went nowhere for the subsequent 5 years. The company did well, but the stock went fucking nowhere.
The opportunity here is not for them to do 35,000 cars on the way to 50 or 100,000 or two. The market is for 100 million cars a year. Like maybe they could do in 8 or 10 years, they could do 1 million or 2 million cars a year, but the potential, they could do.
Fact check, in 8 or 10 years, well, guess what? It's 10 years now. They're going to do roughly 2 million vehicles. So it's on the upper range of his estimate. Now, remember, at the time, everyone thought Ron was absolutely fucking crazy. But it turns out that Ron's vision accurately portrayed an inevitable future. Now, I want to underscore at this point. 8 to 10 years into the future, he's talking about the potential scale of their electric vehicle business. A decade-long time frame when discussing this investment. Not 1 year, 3 months, 3 years, a decade. This is how real wealth is created. Very long investment horizons. Now, that's not to say that your thesis can't change and new information can't become available. But if you're not looking as far into the future as you can reasonably see, you are doing it wrong.
10 million cars a year in 15 years. So the potential is enormous.
Can someone remind me what exactly was Tesla stock at when these comments were made? And Ron's saying 15 years into the future in particular, a decade and a half now, the potential was enormous. Don't know exactly when these comments went to air, but let's just pick the middle of the year. All right, that'll do. 3rd of July 2014. Stock was $15.28 per share. Split adjusted today, about $230 a share. Stock up close to 1,300% in that 10-year time frame that Ron explicitly discussed. Reminder though, Ron could have been down more than 5 years after these comments went to air on the position by 10, 15, 16, 20%. But Ron has a big brain. Ron held. And I think Ron's probably happy with that decision. Perhaps not. Hey, you know what? Let's see what Ron had to say a little bit more recently. Here's Ron Barron in 2020 discussing the very same company. Now, just keep in mind, there's been stock splits along the way. I believe this was after the 5-for-1 and not after the 3-for-1. So divide by 3. Let's continue.
But now things have all come together. And but in the period of time since 2014, the stock price didn't change very much through last summer. So through last summer, our $219 stock was $230, $240. So we made 10%, 20%, 30%. At the same period of time, the company's business, we focus on business, not stock prices. The company's business had grown from $2.8 billion of annual revenues to $25 billion of annual revenues, eightfold. So the company's up eightfold, stock's up 20%, 10%. Now what's happening, this is just catch up. Now this year, Tesla is going to do somewhere around $32 billion of revenues.
By the way, just for context, this year, as in 4 years after these comments went to air, 2024, Tesla's going to do give or take $100 billion in revenues. And that's not including the floodgates opening for Autonomy, which is just around the corner and it's going to make $100 billion look like a fucking joke. More importantly, revenues, who cares? Profits. Tesla profits on the back of Autonomy. Assuming they solve the problem, and I'm extremely confident they will, which is why I've said the same thing for like 6,000 videos in a row, just to make sure I try my best to warn everybody. The profits that Tesla's going to generate on Autonomy are just going to be absolutely astronomical, in my opinion. Can you say catch up part 2?
That they're going to do $100 billion of revenues within 4 years. And I think they have potential for $1 trillion of revenues within 10 years.
Okay, so let's stop here. 2014, Ron talks about Tesla a decade from then doing 1 to 2 million vehicles a year. Last year around 1.8. They're bang on the money. 10-year prediction, bang on the fucking money. Bang on the money. 2020, he talks about 4 years later, Tesla could be doing $100 billion in revenue. Fact check, true, bang on the fucking money again. And now we have a prediction that, well, we don't know how it's turned out yet. It's a long way away. But this was a 10-year prediction back in 2020. Now 6 years left. Where Tesla could be doing, just listen again, keeping in mind this guy's track record on Tesla with long-term predictions so far. He's got 2 from 2, and this is the 3rd one.
And I think they have potential for $1 trillion of revenues within 10 years.
So anyone want to set a reminder? Let's check back in, say, 2031, just to make sure we've got all the data for 2030 to see what did Tesla revenue look like in 2030. Ron Barron here predicting $1 trillion, give or take, roughly a 10x. Of course, revenues 10xing certainly wouldn't have any implications on the stock.
So basically, you're looking at the very start of what's going to happen with Tesla. This could be one of the largest companies in the whole world.
He ain't wrong. So I just wanted to share this update from Tesla, who are, as we know, just a car company and don't have anything that Toyota doesn't already have, because the analysts told me that, who've posted from their X account Tesla, I think they made a typo. Who do we email to tell them they misspelled Tesla, just a car company, on their X handle? Anyway, from the Tesla AI account, due to popular demand, Tesla AI team release roadmap. September 2024, this month. FSD 12.5.2 with roughly 3 times improved miles between necessary interventions. I'm sure it's nothing. Increasing miles per intervention doesn't clearly show Tesla's on the cusp of autonomy. The more miles per intervention, the closer we are. Probably safe to ignore. 12.5.2 is now also operating on the AI 3 computers. For those who don't know, this was previously known as hardware 3 and then hardware 4. Some people who, I don't know how to say this nicely, don't know things about things, were a little bit concerned that the software wouldn't run on a slightly older computer. Like, does anyone play games? If you're a gamer, you'll understand, right? You don't literally need the absolute latest cutting edge computer to play games, right? You might have to fiddle a tiny bit with the settings, but you'll still be able to play the game. Same shit. Then, of course, Tesla beginning to roll out actually smart summon. And as I said in a recent video, Tesla's ass is big, but actually big. And some guy, one of his subscribers, replied, "It's awesome." But hey, what would that guy know? Cybertruck getting auto park. Eye tracking will now work with sunglasses. An end-to-end network being used on the highway. And Cybertruck getting FSD. This will be huge. It's been suboptimal so far for Cybertruck owners not being able to use FSD. But it's to be expected. New product, slightly new configuration of camera placements, a little bit more time for testing, fairly low volume. You've got to make sure it's right first. October, next month. Unpark, park and reverse in FSD. And then, this is big by the way, notice the version numbers with like 12.5.2, 0.1, that kind of shit. This is V13, big, with around a 6 times improvement in miles between necessary interventions. Again, these are just based on Tesla's estimates. But I'm just going to go over this again. This month, a version drops with a 3x improvement in miles between interventions. Next month, a 6x improvement. Imagine just hypothetically that this pattern continues into the future. Not long before there's so few interventions that Tesla's operating robotaxis. First quarter of 2025. This is massive. FSD in Europe, pending regulatory approval. Good luck with that in Europe. And FSD in China, also pending regulatory approval. I don't think regulatory approval in China is going to be a big problem, but I'm sure Europe is likely to have having a meeting about discussing the potential of having a meeting to potentially decide when the date for the actual meeting will be, to decide whether or not they can have a meeting to decide whether or not it'll be possible to maybe approve Tesla in a future meeting. Just kidding. What bureaucracy? Musk adding more context, hopefully right-hand drive markets, shout out to Australia, and so on, in late Q1 or early Q2, pending regulatory approval. So let's just figure this out here. Roughly a month from now, Tesla's holding their Robotaxi event. We now have a roadmap that seems to align with mass rollout of massively improved autonomous software. Not quite there yet, but almost all the way. Global rollout. I mean, we've got unpark, park, and reverse in FSD. We've seen actual smart summon now. Cybertruck getting FSD. Huge improvements in miles between interventions. Rollout in Europe and China and right-hand drive markets in the next quarter or 2 or 3 at most. I hope you are paying attention. All signs point to robotaxis just around the corner. And in unrelated matters, I'm going to protect the innocent by not showing the username. But I just saw this on X and holy fuck, dude. Well, it's time. Oh, by the way, I do have to mention the username happens to have trader or trading or trade as in, we'll see why. But sold my entire Tesla position after 3+ years of holding it and being stuck. I turned green on it for the 50,000th time. And this time, I'm not going into the cycle again. Time to move on to new opportunities. I hope I made the right decision. Should we tell him? No, don't. Oh, God. Again, this dude's username literally has... I'm going to check. Okay, so it's trading with blank. Trading with blank. He's about to find out why I relentlessly roast people with the trader mentality. Oh, this is just... I feel bad for the guy, but hey, live and learn. By the way, hope is not a strategy. Now, what do we have here? We're looking at the Tesla stock price all-time chart. Wonder why we would be doing that after just hearing from somebody who held Tesla for a whopping 3 years and is now sold, disembarking from the emotional roller coaster. Let's just see. Imagine you were this guy, but you actually happened to purchase Tesla stock on the 7th of March 2014. 3 years later, you're up 2.19%, but then a year later, you're down almost 1%. But you hang on, you're like, fuck this, I can't deal with this anymore. Hold for just over 3 years, you're up 6.22%, and then you sell your Tesla stock. Months later, the stock has surged plus 40 or so % if you continue to hold, but don't worry, at least you're not crying yourself to sleep every night wondering why this trading is so hard. And then suddenly Tesla stock begins to plunge off a cliff and you are officially a genius. Oh, look, see, I made the right decision. My hope was a strategy after all, down 25%, next minute, more than a 10x. Now, look, I'm just going to say something. Like if your investment thesis dramatically changes around a company, hey, I get it, different story. But I'm getting the sense here, especially given the word hope was used, that there is no investment thesis from the dude we've just seen on X. Instead, a bit of hope. Oh, well, the stock surged a lot. Look, hey, Tesla went up a lot. I better buy here. Wait, what was 3 years ago? Let's just see. Probably around June. Let's say it buys around $200 a share, give or take. And that, by the way, is after the stock surges, 20 times? Some absurd, ridiculous rocket ship to the moon. Oh, better buy now. Well, in fairness, it was probably only up about 10 times. And then after the ups and downs and volatility, which is par for the course. I mean, hello, long history of that. But it's still now, right when Tesla's on the cusp of autonomy. Ouch. Anyway, I forget what the point of this video was. Oh, wait, no, I don't. The point of this video was big brain, long term, makes lots of money. Small brain, short term, emotional. I hope I made the right decision. Want more content? Early access? Bunch of perks? Click the links in the pinned comment. AG1 is awesome. I've been taking it daily now for more than 3 years. It's a great way to fill in nutritional gaps. It's packed full of vitamins, minerals, and whole food source nutrients, plus has prebiotics, probiotics, and adaptogens to improve gut health, regularity, and help your body handle stress. I'm always looking for an edge to help me feel and perform my best, which is why I haven't missed a day of AG1 for more than 3 years. And I haven't missed a daily video in more than 3 years. Must be a coincidence, right? Just try it and see how you feel. Click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR and get yourself a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 plus K2 and 5 travel packs. But don't take my word for it. This is what viewers of the channel had to say after trying AG1. I feel like I have a lot more energy since I started on AG1. By the way, viewer, that makes 2 of us. On to the next. Just got my AG1 in the mail. Legit feeling the effects after day 3. This viewer's been taking AG1 for 8 months and says, what an investment. Another. 3 months ago, I started AG1 and have been enjoying the evenness of alertness and energy that lasts the day. I just started the wife on it too. Are you convinced yet? I mean, hey, it's worth trying, right? Click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR or I can keep going. Plenty more to come. This viewer, after about a month on AG1, definitely a lack of fatigue in the afternoon. Pleasant side effect is that my coffee intake has imploded and is almost down to 0. One more? Yeah, why not? I honestly feel younger and will be continuing to use AG1. This stuff really is crazy good. I didn't think it would be, but this stuff is awesome. It really is what everyone is saying. One more? Don't mind if I do. I've just received my 3rd month supply. I've drank it every day. I have so much energy throughout most of the day. I'm productive, started a new business, started socializing, refurbished a boat. It's no coincidence. Thank you for your persistence, your integrity, and your insights. Now look, these are not my words. These are not my testimonials. This is what you guys and girls are saying. Maybe it's 100% placebo effect. But even if that's the case, I think it's money well spent. Click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR and get yourself a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 plus K2 and 5 travel packs. If you're still skeptical, hey, I don't blame you. Everyone on the planet seems to be promoting AG1 now, but guess what? They weren't nearly 3 years ago when I had this to say privately to my Patreon audience before there was a relationship, when I was asked about what I was doing for my health, energy, and so on. Just sharing my genuine, honest thoughts about a product I'd recently discovered that was at the time called Athletic Greens, now AG1. If I could only recommend one supplement to take, Athletic Greens, and I'm not getting paid to say this, Athletic Greens is a fucking game changer. I cannot believe how effective this is. No longer having a lack of energy in the afternoons. It's fucking amazing. There's only one thing to recommend seriously. Try Athletic Greens. You won't go back. So obviously, just like Elon Musk is a liar, a fraud, a con man, a scammer, a fake engineer, and Tesla's going bankrupt, you shouldn't trust that guy from about 3 years ago who, without any financial incentive, was promoting this product to his audience on Patreon when they were asking about health and what he's doing for supplements. Because obviously, there was some other reason he recommended that, obviously. Not sure what it was, but don't trust that guy. And all the testimonials, like my mental game's improved with AG1. I feel better than ever. I'm so impressed I've bought it for both my parents. I feel more focused and have better digestion. Incredible difference. No more afternoon fatigue. It's relieved gut issues. These are all just obviously fake testimonials from fake people. Right? Wrong. Just try it. Unless you hate yourself. If you hate yourself and you don't even want to risk possibly feeling better, this is not for you. But for everyone else, what's the worst that could happen? Try it for a month. See how you feel. It's a no-brainer. Just click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR. You'll get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 and K2 plus 5 travel packs. And you'll take the colossal risk that maybe you might have a similar experience to some of the people whose testimonials we've read. in this video.